full face, like in-depth tutorial on my process using this guy right here. I have my Seint palette on the top. I have my creams for my face, and on the bottom, I have powder for my eyeshadow. So get ready for this full tutorial. It's in-depth. Last week, I did an in-depth tutorial on eyes, and it never uploaded. So we're gonna rehash all of that today, here and now. Okay, when I do my face makeup, I use a primer, not always, but I have recently, and this one is NYX Plump Right Back. So we're gonna give that a go today. I usually put my primer on first and then do my eyes. That way my primer has plenty of time to dry while I'm doing other things, right? And I will say, if you are new to using a primer, make sure your primer matches the makeup that you're wearing. Meaning, if you are wearing a water-based makeup, you need a water-based primer. And if you're using a like silicone-based makeup, you need a silicone-based primer. All right, so we're gonna let that dry while we focus on the eyes. All right, so for my eyes, I'm just looking to make sure I get like premature when I hit the live button. So I'm just making sure I have everything that I could possibly need. Maybe we do, maybe we don't, but guess what? We're just gonna roll with it and see what happens, okay? Okay, so for eyes, I'm gonna get my eyeshadow brush. I should have cleaned it off, but again, I hit live and we're just gonna go with it. Okay, so for my eyes, I always prime those as well. I do not use the primer that I use on my face for my eyes. I actually just take a color out of my compact. I just use a concealer. So the concealer, the same concealer that I use for my face, I use as my eyelid primer, and for many reasons. One, I really just don't want extra product, right? Like, I don't want to buy an extra product. I already have this one and it's working. Number two, I have a bit of discoloration on my lids. And so when I use a primer like this, AKA my concealer, it really does help cancel out that like discoloration. So when I put my shadows on, you're gonna see the eyeshadow colors that I am supposed to, like I would like to wear, versus you're seeing like the discoloration and the competing tones and things like that. Okay, so let's talk about, I'm gonna pop out, I'm switching out, guys. I have a magnetic compact. And again, I prematurely hit live, so I didn't put the colors that I was going to use today in here. So I'm gonna quickly just change these out. So let me show you, we're gonna go with something neutral. And the reason being is because I am helping someone, first time, I'm helping someone this week. I'm doing their prom makeup. And so I kind of wanted, I had a couple ideas. She sent me a couple inspiration pics, but I want to play around before the real deal. Okay, so we're gonna work with some of these like neutral tones. We've got this cupcake here, which is very neutral. We're gonna use this neutral shimmer and we're gonna see what we can come up with. So for my eyes, I've primed first. I use a double-sided brush. I have this nice fluffy side that's really good for blending, and then I have a more dense side, which is really good to like pack on the pigment. I will say, I always 1,000 times recommend doing your eyes before your face. I'm gonna get started while we do this and while we chat. I recommend doing your eyes before your face. The reason being is while you're blending, you're gonna have some fallout, you guys. And guess what? If you already have your foundation done, what's it gonna mess up? The fallout from the shadows, AKA the extra pigment. It's gonna mess up your foundation. And if you're using a darker shade or a purple or a blue and it falls out under the eyes, you're gonna look like you have dark under eye circles. We don't want that. So if you do your eyes first, guess what happens? If there's any fallout, you can just easily clean it up or dust it away, and then you're good to go. Also, sometimes when I'm blending, I get a little sloppy out here in the outer corner. And if I already have my foundation done, I'm a little bit more restricted. I need to keep it a little bit more like nice and neat. If I do my eyes first, I can clean it up before doing my foundation. Okay, so I'm taking my lightest shade that I'm using and I'm applying that in the crease and then blending upward toward the brow. But I'm not blending it all the way up towards the brow. I am leaving a little bit of a space. This is gonna kind of be my transition shade. This is gonna be the shade that kind of helps blend everything together. The reason why I don't want to carry it all the way up to my eyebrow is because I want a little of that primer showing. It's going to give me a little bit of a lifted look, and I am knocking on the door in a few days. I'll be 38. So any lifted look that I can get from my makeup, I'm gonna do it. So by not carrying your shadow all the way up to the eyebrow and leaving that little bit of space, you're gonna have a nice lifted look. Okay, I'm gonna go a touch darker. And again, the reason being is because I'm doing an eyeshadow look for prom this week and we're gonna practice. So this shade is gonna be a touch darker, but my gal that I am doing her eyes or her makeup, she has blue eyes. And so orange shades really are gonna make those blue eyes pop. So I'm picking a neutral shade that has got a little bit of orange to it to really help make her blue eyes pop. Now I am putting this color exactly over top of the first color used. Hi, you guys. How are you? When you hop on, tell me where you're watching from. I am new to YouTube and I don't know how to see comments and all those things, but hi, how are you? Okay, so I'm putting this color exactly over top of what we just did. One, it's going to add a little bit of depth to the look, but also that first color was just my transition shade, which basically means is just the shade that's going to help me blend out all the other colors so that I don't have these harsh transitions of shades where it's like a dark shade here and then a harsh line. We want like a nice smooth gradient. So I'm putting that in, I'm looking in my mirror over here. So I'm putting that in the crease and then again, blending it upward toward the brow. Now, again, this is going to be some prom makeup inspo, but we're keeping it neutral. She wants a very neutral, natural look. And I'm just playing around with colors right now so we can see if we can deliver, right? Okay, so I am using, now for me personally, I like to use the fluffy side of my brush to apply my shadows. The reason being it doesn't pick up as much product. And so I don't build up a look too fast. Meaning if I use this side and I put too much eyeshadow on, it's either gonna take me a very, very, very long time to blend it out, or I'm not gonna be able to blend it out and I'm gonna have to start over. At this point, I feel like I can judge pretty well how much I need. However, if you're someone that's new to eyeshadow, use a fluffy side so that you don't pick up as much product. Now, I am gonna switch to the dense side and go underneath here. You guys, I love wearing eyeshadow underneath the eye. It just keeps them looking nice and big and bright. And so we're gonna do that right there. Okay, now I'm gonna go with a little bit deeper, darker color. So far we've used like this little family of colors right here. So we're gonna use this one right here. Obviously you can tell it's a very well-loved color. I'm gonna stick with the fluffy side and I am going to start with this in the outer corner. So we're going to just stamp, stamp, stamp in the outer corner here just to build it up. We're not blending it out right yet. We're just applying the color. So see how I'm just putting pigment on my lid in the outer 1/3. We will blend it out here in a second. So I'm just gonna stamp, stamp, stamp. And then I'm gonna do the other eye here, outer third, because we're adding contrast to the eyes. We're adding shape and dimension. And usually that outer corner is really reserved for those darker shades. And that lid is reserved for the lighter shades. Now, is that always true? There's always exceptions to every rule, but that's just a good rule of thumb is we keep the lid nice and bright and we keep the outer corner a little bit darker. So now I kind of dust off any extra pigment. That way I'm not adding more pigment. And I'm gonna do this little number right here. And I'm just gonna start blending it in. Now to blend it in, I'm gonna do like these little circular motions. I'm gonna push it upward toward the brow. Again, leaving that little space. I can push it into the crease just a little bit and blend it in, but I really wanna keep a majority of it to the outer 1/3. Now I'll be completely honest, you guys, I haven't done this combination before. Now the premise of how I'm applying is kind of my blueprint for how I apply like all my shadows, but this color combination we haven't done before. So this could be a total flop, but I would rather it be a flop here with you guys versus for my gal who I'm doing her prom makeup. So we'd rather it be a flop, not for her. Okay, so again, we're keeping this like nice and neutral, not these like really harsh or bold shades, but we've got a little bit darker in the outer corner. Do you see how like I've gotten a little sloppy here? That's why I always recommend doing your eyes first and then your face second. Okay, I'm flipping over to a more dense brush and I'm gonna make the under eye match my my lid here, and I'm gonna keep this darker shade to the outer 1/3, just like this. Again, making the top or the bottom match the top, blend it out. Okay, now I'm thinking I'm thinking because my gal, again, is going to prom, we might need like a little bit more in the outer corner. So I have a little color here, Well Loved. This is actually one that I fill in my eyebrows with. Guys, if you're not filling in your eyebrows, please give them some love. Eyeshadow is a really good product to fill in your brows. Okay, so I'm gonna try this darker shade here. I'm gonna use the more dense side of the brush, and I'm gonna create like a little V in the outer corner. So like, I wish I could zoom in and do all these cool things, but I am not that cool. So say like a little V, just like a little V. So we're gonna make that V right here and just add a little bit of depth and dimension. Okay, then we're going to smudge it out and we'll make a V on the other side. And then we're gonna try this shimmer shade. Now, we are doing, me and my gal here, my prom gal, we're doing a trial tomorrow, which will be great. And then we'll get the final look. Prom is in 2 weeks. And so we'll have some time to work out any details or anything that she wants to change. Okay, but do you see how like I'm just building up color now? I'll be honest, I'm looking at the time on this live. You guys, it does not take me this long to do my makeup. I am someone who, I'm a mom of 2. Actually, my kids are outside in the living room. We're getting ready to do sports stuff and birthday parties and things. So I don't have a ton of time. The reason why one is taking me a little bit longer to do this look is because I've never used this combo before. Also because I'm using this as an opportunity to educate. But I am usually a 10-minute or less kind of gal. So I just slap that makeup on and go. Okay, now these are all, we've used only matte shades. We're gonna use a shimmer now. When I use a shimmer for my lid to keep it nice and bright, I just use my finger because I get more bang for my buck with my application. Otherwise, the brush tends to absorb the shimmer a bit, and so then I have to end up using more product. So I'm just gonna place this with my finger. I'm doing this about 2/3 the way across the lid. Do you see that like pretty shimmer? And it's gonna meet up with the outer corner. So the outer corner is about 1/3 and this shimmer is about 2/3 the way across the lid. All right, now you can finish this look however you would like. Some of you love eyeliner and some of you love the black eyeliner on the top, the bottom, all the things. I grew up wearing black eyeliner and I have since changed to a tight lining technique, still wearing eyeliner. It's a little bit more current of a technique. Black eyeliner, that harsh black eyeliner can be a little bit aging. But it also, if you do liner on the top and liner on the bottom, it can really close off your eyes and make them a little bit smaller. I've got big eyes, but I like to keep mine big and bright. So I take a little brush like this. I have a little cream eyeliner here in my palette and I get a little bit on my brush and I just look at my mirror and I am just filling in the waterline with that eyeliner. So that way my lid is nice and bright and it doesn't have that harsh liner look. But also, you guys, for me personally, if I put liner on my eyelid, one, I get transfer up here. And so halfway through the day, like I've got like a little half or like a little moon shape of eyeliner that's transferred to the top. But also, I don't know about you, I'm not a trained makeup artist. And so sometimes I would do liner on this lid, wait, they're not even, come back, and then it's too thick and it's just a big mess. And so I just want to avoid that hassle altogether. So that's why I have been using this little tight lining technique here, just in the waterline. And then I'm going to put it right down here in the waterline. Okay, my question for you, I was doing some digging. I would love to know, mascara, do you wear it on the bottom lashes or just your top? I want to know that. So tell me in the comments, do you wear it just on the top or on both the bottom and the top? All right, let me put a little bit more of, I'm just going to smudge this out just a little bit more with that eyeshadow. That last one that we did with a little V. Okay, so for me personally, I've always done mascara on the top and the bottom. Now, granted, I grew up never using a lash curler, so maybe I need to do that. but I do use a primer. So this is like from Target. This is L'Oreal Voluminous Primer. I just love it because I am someone who doesn't have, oh my gosh, guys, it doesn't take me 15 minutes. I'm looking at the time. It doesn't take me 15 minutes to do my eyes. It does not. But I like primer because, do you see how it's kind of white? What it does is it splays out your lashes. I don't have a ton of eyelashes, so it splays out your lashes. So actually more of your lashes can be coated in mascara. So that makes them not clump together. It makes you, again, get more mascara on your lashes, which can add volume and whatnot. And I am someone who, again, doesn't have a ton of lashes. Maybe I need to use an eyelash curler. I've got one. It's a habit. I don't ever use it. But I just then slap on my mascara. But I want to know in the comments if you wear mascara on the bottom of your lashes or just the top. Because I've always been told to wear them on the bottom, and now the trend is moving away from that. Okay, now we got to do this face because we have a few things to talk about. Now, for me personally, I don't even have a ton of lashes. There's just nothing here. There's nothing. Okay, I use a cream makeup system because cream is very easy to work with, and I'm not a makeup artist, and so I need something that's quick to apply, that's easy to apply, that's easy to work with, and essentially foolproof, right? So that's why I use this. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the teeniest tiny little brush. I usually use one brush to do my face makeup, but I'm gonna use this guy because, do you see that? It's not cute. So I'm gonna use a color corrector color. I'm gonna actually use this orange shade here, and it is much darker than my skin tone, but because there is some blue in this little skin integrity mishap that we have, the orange is going to help cancel it out or neutralize it. Now, not 100%. I would need, for 100%, I would need to use something like this. I just don't have the time today. This is like a bunch of color correctors. And I could sit here and paint up each little spot with a different color that's needed. I don't have time for that today. So we're gonna go with kind of a general color correction with just this orange to just cut some of the color. Okay, so we're just gonna like dot this in. I could use the other side of the brush, whatever. We're just gonna stamp this in to like, do you see how that does like a good job of neutralizing? I just remember growing up, I was taught wear concealer over any like blemishes, but oftentimes you guys, concealer is a lighter, brighter shade, and it just makes them more pronounced. Now my nose is red, so I'm gonna dust a little bit of this orange on my nose, and that's what we're gonna go with. So you see, like, it didn't take it away 100%, but it's gonna be a good enough coverage for me for the moment. Okay, now let's talk about what I've got in here. I've got foundation, I've got concealer, I've got contour, bronzer, illuminator. That was my color corrector, and then I've got a couple blushes. I'm gonna take this brush here, which I should have. I don't even know where my brush cleaner is. I should have cleaned my brushes. Guys, clean your brushes. Your face will be happy. Your makeup application will be so much better. And just clean your brushes. Just clean your brushes. Okay, now, hence why I tell you all the time, my name is Whitney and I am not a makeup artist because I probably don't do the things that like a makeup artist would tell you to do. Okay, so foundation. I'm going to use this brush right here. This is going to give me kind of a light to medium coverage. I could do a more full coverage look and get more coverage over this. However, I don't want a full coverage look today. I just want light. So that's why I kind of did that color corrector first, because that's going to have less makeup on my face overall versus using a brush that's going to put more makeup on my face. Okay, so I'm using my foundation shade, which is just kind of even out my skin tone. And this is the color that like, this is the color that you want to spot on match, because otherwise you're gonna have issues. If your foundation shade is too light, you're gonna see texture, you're gonna see fine lines and wrinkles, pores are gonna be more pronounced. Like the things that you don't love about your skin are gonna be more pronounced if your foundation is too light. If your foundation is too dark, it's not gonna match your neck. You're gonna have like that line. Do you know what I'm talking about? That line, you're gonna have it. But also if it's too dark, it's going to look like you have like a mask on or something else on your face because it's not going to blend in with your face. If you have the right foundation shade, it's going to literally blend like butter. You're not gonna see a lot of texture and it's just gonna be so smooth and beautiful. Okay, so I have my foundation on. Now I didn't put any foundation right here. And on this side of my face, I didn't put any foundation right there because my contour is gonna go there. The brand that I use has a little bit, now I did put some foundation right here because like just to get that extra coverage. But the contour that I use has coverage in as well. So I don't have to have like all of this makeup on my face. Okay, I'm gonna use the same brush. I'm gonna just keep going with it. And I'm gonna get a little bit of contour. I'm gonna pinch it like this. And I'm gonna do a little kind of half U from the arch of one eyebrow to the arch of the other, half rainbow, whatever you wanna call it, on my forehead. So this is my contour. So this is gonna give me the shape and the dimension. My foundation is what color corrected and kind of evened out my skin tone, but it also leaves me feeling a little bit flat. So I'm gonna take this contour right here on the cheekbone. If you don't know where your cheekbone is, let me just help you out with that. If you're new to contouring, okay, move your hair, find where your ear meets your face. That's where your contour needs to start. And if you're someone who's like, I've never done contour before, it's okay. Because if you use cream, you can do it the way I do it. If you're using a powder contour, you really need to kind of like blend it in as you apply. So like I just did this smudge and I'm gonna blend it out in a second. If I had a powder, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult to blend that out. So what you can do is you can take your fingers and go along your cheekbone, find it, and then dot your contour behind it. Or if you're someone that's like, I just don't want to be touching my face, you can take your finger or a small brush like I was using earlier, like something that's really skinny, and find your cheekbone and go underneath it, and then draw your contour over top of that. But I like to put my contour right on top of my cheekbone. It gives a little bit more of a lifted look, but also a lot of times when we start blending, we blend it down and that just draws your face down. So I'm gonna tell you to take your bristles of your brush, point them up as you're blending. Because if you're doing this, you're gonna draw your face down. We don't want that. So bristles up, and we're gonna do this right here and just blend it out. I'm literally just stamping to blend it out, just like that. Okay, and same thing over here. Just stamp. Now, especially because I have some color correction, remember over here, I don't wanna do all these big swirls. I'm stamping, because if you color correct and then put your makeup on and you start swiping and doing all that, you're gonna move the color correction around. So you really wanna make sure that you're just doing these nice little stamps to soften the shade. So all we're doing is taking it from this kind of harsh line we did to this smooth transition of color, this smooth gradient of color. That's all we're doing. And so what this contour is doing is it's giving us shape and dimension. You guys, your face, I'm just gonna venture to guess, I don't know you personally, but your face is 3D and there's shapes and curves and all the things in your face, right? And when you just use a one color foundation, it takes all of that away. So we don't wanna strip you of your natural beauty. Makeup shouldn't cover up things. It shouldn't take away things. It should only enhance or just complement you, right? And so when you just use a one color foundation, you really literally strip all of the shape and dimension out of your face. Okay, I'm gonna go back to, remember the little brush that we used for the color correction? I'm gonna use this side into my concealer, and I'm just gonna put a little bit of brightness right here under my eyes. I don't use a ton of this because I don't want, and this, look guys, this is where I clean up my eyeshadow like that. If I didn't do it before, I'll take my concealer and go whoop, and that gives me a nice like little lifted look. But I don't use a ton of it under my eye, just like, do you see like a little bit right here? And I can either do this with my finger, I can blend it in with this brush here, or I can get a sponge. But I don't use a ton because I don't want texture under my eyes. I don't want creasing under my eyes, right? And so you don't need a ton of product. You just need the slightest bit. Now, again, if you're someone that's like, no, but I have some under eye discoloration, then we need to be talking a color corrector under your eyes versus a true, like, just throw some concealer on it, because you're gonna keep adding and adding and adding concealer, and then you're gonna say, now it's caked under my eyes. Yeah, because we put too much product. Guys, less is more. Okay, We're gonna use this big brush. I'm gonna throw a little bit of bronzer on here just because, and I know like I'm looking at my time. It does not take me this long to do my makeup, but it's just because I love chatting and I like educating with you guys. So we put the contour, remember up here and up here, we're gonna put bronzer in the middle of our forehead, nose, chin, and then we're gonna make a little C around our eye. Okay, I have like all of these cool little things to remember, like your contour needs to go on the hard parts of your face and your bronzer needs to go on the high part. We can talk about that later. We can talk about that later. But we're just gonna throw it on real quick just to give us a little bit of warmth and a little bit of that glow. Okay, so I'm gonna put a little blush on. I put mine on the outer portion of my face because I like more of a lifted look. If you're someone who wants like, I want you to look at my cheeks, I want a full rounded face look, I want the attention drawn to my cheeks. Like if you're someone like that, you're gonna smile and put your blush right here. But if you're someone who's like, no, 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 I want more of a slimmed look. Oh, I still have a little contour on there. That's okay, no worries. If you're someone that says, no, 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 I want like more of that slimmed look. I want that elongated look. I want a lifted look. You're gonna put your blush on the outer portion of your face. So we're gonna keep this area nice and bright. This is gonna give you that elongated look. It's gonna give you that more lifted look. And you guys, look at that. Is that not just fan? That is like the cat's meow. Okay, now that color is a blush and a lip color, but I'm not a big lipstick fan. I don't know, are you a lipstick fan? I'm not a big lipstick fan, but maybe I should learn to overcome that. I'm gonna finish up with this little illuminator. That's gonna give me, see that little, it's a little sparkle and shine, and all it's gonna do is it's gonna look like this dewy finish on my face. You guys, this is the lightest makeup ever. I mean, it's cream, it's so light. It's because of the amount of pigment in it, you don't need a ton on your face, which is why it leaves you with that like I don't even feel like I'm wearing anything. It gives you that like second skin, just natural appearance. We're done. You guys, that's it. That's it. No, it doesn't take me. I mean, literally this takes me 10 minutes to do, but I get too excited sharing and chatting and all of that. So, and the last time I did a YouTube video, it didn't upload. And so I wanted to make sure that the points that I talked about last time, I rehashed this time. So you guys, there's the final look. There's eyes, we did face, a good tutorial. If you have questions about my makeup specifically, it's this brand right here, Seint, S-E-I-N-T. It's available currently in the US and Canada. It is coming to Australia and the UK at some point this year, so get excited, make sure you're following. If you have questions though, comment the word makeup on this video and I will reach out. Otherwise, if you have questions and you wanna be color matched, like this isn't something you wanna guess at, you guys. Like, I don't know about you, but I grew up walking down the makeup aisles and like, maybe this color works for me, maybe it doesn't. We're tired of that. So if you want to be matched to this makeup, and I'll tell you exactly what shades you need, you can just head to whitneyscolormatch.com. So you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you have a blessed day and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.